Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Adievich. I work for AppDynamics in professional services practice as a solution architect. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about AppDynamics DEXTER. Dynamics DEXTER stands for Data Extraction and Enhanced Reporting. It extracts configuration and metadata and events, and a variety of other interesting things from inside of AppDynamics applications, and provides you interesting and novel ways of looking at this data in a variety of reports. It works as follows. Our AppDynamics agents collect the information. They send data to the controller. AppDynamics DEXTER utility uses a variety of APIs to extract the data. It processes it, enriches it, cross-references it, and turns them into a set of CSV files. It's very heavily typed with a cleaned out data conforming to certain schema, and then it loads them in a variety of visual reports using Excel, Tableau, Power BI, building things that you can look inside of your browser, and it lets you program against that data afterwards freely. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a job file to use with AppDynamics DEXTER. DEXTER comes with a job file that's called the default job.json. I'm going to make a copy, create it, and call it test, and open it in an editor. The JSON file looks like this. It comes with a section called target, a section called input, and a section called output. In target, you get to specify what controllers and AppDynamics application entities you want to go against. So for instance, I can point myself at the demo1 at appdynamics.com controller using a username. I'm going to use a username called Resty. I'm going to be prompted for the password by removing the password from a user password field. And I'm going to extract an application called e-commerce. This is an APM style application. The AppDynamics DEXTER supports all different types of AppDynamics monitoring, including APM on line 9, web, which is web and end user monitoring on line 17, mobile, which is a mobile time monitoring with iOS and Android devices, BIQ, our transaction mobile analytics, server infrastructure monitoring, and databases. In this file, I'm going to extract e-commerce. I'm going to extract e-commerce web monitoring for the web end user monitoring. And then I think I will also extract e-commerce iOS application that I happen to know exists in this controller. I'm going to remove the extraction for BIQ. And I think I will keep the server infrastructure monitoring. I better not forget that I need to keep the controller and username in sync between those targets. And I think I will also remove the database monitoring. Next step for me is to decide what kind of input to feed into AppDynamics DEXTER. Input includes in it the time range. So in this case, I'm going to go from 14th of May noon to 14th of May 2 p.m. local time. I could also use time quantifiers. So using the letter Z, for instance, I can go to UTC time. The next steps are to identify the types of data to extract. Every line in the input parameter, every Boolean line in the input parameter specifies the types of data that you want to extract. And going from the top, there's an extraction of the user groups, roles, and permissions to get data about who is registered in the controller and what are their permissions. List of dashboards created by users. List of licenses that are provisioned for controller and license rules. Events for any and all applications that we are trying to extract in a given time range. The configuration. Of course, there's all kinds of interesting things that may be present there. List of detected entities provides us the core foundation of what is it that's actually in your controller. List of metrics specifically for APM monitoring coupled together with metric selection criteria, more on that later, will give you information about the performance of the application, including the transactional activities, garbage collection, memory, hardware consumption, etc. The turning flow maps to true will let you have access to the flow map data. And using snapshots set to true will give you information about that is contained inside of AppDynamics application performance monitoring snapshots. Once those things are set in this job file, you can then proceed to the output section. Output section provides ability for you to control whether the reports in Excel format are actually created at the tail end of this process or not. If they are set to true by default, but if you didn't feel that there's any value of creating reports, but actually you wanted to turn the data into CSV files for your further programming pleasure, then you can save yourself time and turn off those particular report generations by setting the Boolean variables to false. I'm going to save this file and close it. As an alternative, for the people who don't feel like generating JSON in a notepad is all that fun, you can use a visual utility called DEXTER UI. It is accessible from inside of the AppDynamics DEXTER repository in the wiki page. There's a link to it called DEXTER UI. When you use DEXTER UI, you go through a simple wizard that follows the same 3 sections that I've shown you for you earlier. So for instance, I can set the time range. I can set it to now. I'm going to change it to, how about 14:00:00, just to set the minutes, 00 seconds. And I'm going to set this, actually wait, it wasn't 14, I think it was 12 to 14 we decided to go. So I can adjust my time range accordingly. I can specify my Boolean variables for the list of the items I want to extract and process. I can complete that page by hitting submit at the bottom. On the next page, I get to specify which reports get to be output. Again, that's an outputs criteria that we already saw in a notepad. And then finally, on the final page, I get to specify the location of the controller. So I can say demo1.appdynamics.com using user called Resty at customer1. Resty at customer1, please. Okay, at customer1. I will leave the password empty so the DEXTER prompts me later. And right here, I specify my application, e-commerce, and I can add a second one and use same information from the previous items. Resty at customer1. And in this case, I will specify that this should be a web application. My application should be called e-commerce web. I'm ready to perform, to produce the final file. Here's my JSON file for the input. I hit the copy to clipboard, and I can create a brand new file in here. New text file. And paste the information right into it. Here it is. It is ready to go. Now that the file is done, I will invoke DEXTER to make it do what I want. Inside of my build, there is several versions of DEXTER. I'm operating on a Windows machine, so I have options of running either full Win or Core Win build. So I will use Core Win that leverages the power of .NET Core framework. I will specify the job file, which I just created, called test.json. And I will specify the output directory by using the shorthand of O to go to the C out folder. As I hit the enter button, I should be prompted for my password, which I can proceed to type in and proceed to complete the run. We will resume the rest of using AppDynamics DEXTER in subsequent videos. Thank you for listening.